about the two important aspects of being a role model. This summer, for my senior project, I researched several ways to empower other women to feel confident, as well as work with an organization called Girls Inc. I had the opportunity to work with 3 girls from that organization who I shared what I learned about girl empowerment. I'm going to show you the first clip of the documentary that I ended up making. So I had the opportunity to work with those 3 girls, Jill, Allie, and Jasmine, and they were each between the ages of 12 and 14. And the first time I met them, I conducted an interview with each of them, asking them about some of their insecurities and things that they wanted to work with me over the summer, as I plan to meet with them each week and help them improve their self-esteem and confidence throughout the summer. And so I'm going to also show you one of the interviews that I conducted with Jill, and this was the first time I had ever met her, and these were some of the things she was telling me, and this was probably 8 weeks ago, and so I'll show you that.
I like to do archery, and I like to just draw and have fun and swim. It's hair color because everyone picks on me sometimes and like my skin color because I'm pale, and just people are like, "Oh, you're gonna get burned," and I'm like, "I don't care." I say to myself, "Fine, you don't need to look like that because we don't need any change." I'm very stubborn sometimes, and I just stand for what I want to do, and I won't let go of anyone else to be like, "Oh, hey, this is how you do it." Nope, this is my way of doing it. It's this, and it's the only way I've ever known how to do it.
So each time I visited the girls, I would show them a new method, such as taking time for themselves, being kind to others, and self-motivation. And after each technique, I asked them open-ended questions about their experience and what they took away from the method. And then I filmed all of these moments and combined them into a documentary so I could share the impact with a larger audience than just the 3 girls, because I feel like girl empowerment is a problem that needs to be spread, and I felt like just working with 3 girls wasn't enough. And so hopefully with the documentary I can spread it to a larger audience. And after working with them, I've come to learn the important aspects of being a role model. The first step to being a role model is you have to love yourself. You have to be confident in yourself before you can spread that with other people. Through my research, I learned that a role model is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. If you think about the people that inspired you, they're probably people who have a lot of confidence in themselves and have a good understanding of who they are. Role models are people that we aspire to be like in many shapes and forms. Now, with the girls from Girls Inc., I taught them several ways to gain confidence because, like them, not everybody has confidence in themselves. But that doesn't mean you can't be a role model. So the first activity that I showed them was a poster activity. So they first had to decorate it and put inspiring quotes that made them feel the most confident. And then I asked them to hang it in their room or somewhere they would see it often. And then after a week, we got back together and I asked them about their experience with it and if it had impacted them. So Jasmine, the girl in the middle, she told me that she wrote the word beautiful on her poster to symbolize that everyone is beautiful in their own way. She's experienced people calling her names and telling her that she's not beautiful, and so that's a reminder for her that no matter what people say, she can still feel confident and know that she's beautiful. And so to her, that word means a lot more than what it means to others. And she was saying to me that it was definitely something she'll use in the future, and she took a lot away from it. So that method of the poster was just one way that you could raise your self-esteem, and like I said before, you can't share something you don't have, but luckily, confidence is something that can easily be attained through self-motivation and, of course, role models. So So the next step to being a role model is to be positive all the time. Of course, everyone has bad days where they feel like their negative mood doesn't affect those around them. But you're always affecting the people around you in some shape or form. So the thing I found about being a role model is that inspiring role models sometimes go unnoticed. How often do you tell the people that you look up to that they're inspiring to you? I can almost guarantee that it doesn't happen very often. I never quite realized the effect I had on the girls until two significant moments late in the summer. One of the days we were making jars, and they had to put little notes inside so when they were feeling down, they could pull out notes, and on the notes they had little sayings that the other girls wrote for them, like quotes or inside jokes or things that they admired about that person. And when we were making the jars, I didn't realize that any of the girls had put anything into my jar. And then when I was going through my bag one day, I saw mine and I realized there was a piece of paper in mine, so I pulled it out and I saw that there was a little note that said, "You're an A+ inspirationalist." And I later learned that Jasmine had wrote it. And that was the first moment that I realized that I was making an impact on them, because I was wondering the whole summer if my work was worth it, if I was doing anything that was like inspiring to them. And then the second moment I realized that was on the last day of filming when I asked them to go back and look at the whole summer and talk about some of their favorite methods that I taught them, their favorite moments, and their overall experience about it. And I didn't realize that they had taken away like so much knowledge from what I had taught them, and listening to what they were saying was really inspiring to me. So I'm going to show you one of the interviews at the end of the summer. And this was of Jasmine again.
I think it's helped me like get in touch with myself more and have more interactions with myself as well as other girls in I've learned that sort of difficult. Self-esteem, it's better to keep it positive because if you're negative all the time then like no one will really want to talk because you're being so sad and moody all the time. I liked the jars and posters because it was wicked funny listening to my friends make different voices and all the comments that were put into the jars and what were written on the posters to inspire. I mean, I'm not reading from a script, I'm just saying things from heart and it's real. Self-esteem means to me, I guess I can relate it to attitude and your moods. Like if one day you're feeling sad for a certain reason, you can always cheer back up some way and you won't be alone. If there are any last words for this, I'm gonna have to say I loved it.
Okay, so that leads me to some of my final thoughts. Being a role model comes with not only a lot of responsibility, but also a very rewarding feeling when you know that you have been a role model to somebody else. Listening to what the girls had to say about my senior project was so inspiring to me, and I smile every time I watch those final thoughts. The goal that I set myself at the beginning of the summer was that I wanted to impact one person in some shape or form. I was lucky enough to impact all three of those girls, and hopefully more with the documentary. I was also lucky enough to know that I had impacted them in a positive way. Again, you never know who you are impacting, or if you're impacting anyone at all, so it is important to be positive. From this project, I learned a lot about myself. I have gained a lot of knowledge about confidence, and I've learned a lot of it from these girls. I learned as much from them as I tried to teach them. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to meet them and work with them every week. From this project, I now know what it takes to be a role model, and I try to incorporate that into my everyday life. I want you all to think about your daily life. Do you know anybody that is looking up to you? No matter the answer, always be positive and love yourself because it's the best gift you can give yourself. Remember, you never know who you are impacting, so why not set a positive example for those around you and try to make the world a better place.